Hi, welcome to 103 Black Birch Trail. Lucy and my new home that we've lived in since July 2010. We have our solar panels, we have our great color scheme of bright barn red and maroon, and I've had a lot of fun with the garden. So the first thing I'd like to do is talk about my front garden a little bit. This is my little tiny garden where I have some red and yellow tulips in the spring and plant some annuals for the summer. Right now I have a salvia that's really happy. It's the salvia black and blue with that really great blue color. And we have these really cool lights that are downward facing and very unobtrusive but light our path at night, and they come on automatically. So that's another perk of living here, that it's all coordinated, and we have the great color scheme and lighting. It's a whole package. This porch is, I think, my favorite place in the house. It's great for having breakfast. My houseplants are out here during the summer. I had to put them back because of Hurricane Irene, but have a couple of pots still out. And I have this beautiful trellis right in back of me that I had designed, and I'm now trying to train a climbing rose on it. The designer who made up this trellis had a lot of fun with it, and this was the first time he designed a little oval peak hole, and it's very whimsical, but it's actually practical because you can look out and check out your garden. So I'm very, very pleased with it, and my rose is doing pretty well. It's for its first year. It's a fragrant rose, so we'll see about that. What I tried to do in this front garden was to harmonize with the house by picking a lot of things that bloom in red and orange, and that was kind of like my organizing thing that I worked with. And from one of my neighbors I got this really awesome Penstemon plant that blooms for a long time, attracts hummingbirds, and has this beautiful red color. Then I also have a moonflower vine back there that looks really pretty. It blooms, has these big white blossoms on it. I didn't really want to have a lot of shrubs because I wanted to have a little bit of lawn also. So I'm trying to keep it really small. I also have a daylily and sunflowers, blanket flower, which is the yellow one there. And over there is what they call hummingbird flower, the one that's the peach colored one with the fine foliage, and that does attract hummingbirds. And then I also want to have some snapdragons because they seem to really like it here. So I have snapdragons and zinnias, and I'm going to definitely have them next year because they love the full sun. As an experiment, I also planted some tomatoes here, and then I had to pick most of them before the hurricane came. But I kind of fell in love with these really cool red cages, and I'm going to be doing that again somewhere else in the yard next year. This little guy is a lilac that was here that I'm nurturing along, and next summer I'm going to take out this big grass that's kind of smothering it, and I hope it's going to be one of those venerable, wonderful lilacs in the future. Next to the lilac I have some little hens and chicks that I found and transplanted into the sunny spot. Over here I have a cute little herb garden that is a lot of fun. It gets a lot of sun in the afternoon, and I have, of course, a wild rampant mint and parsley. Right now I have some basil that did not like the 17 inches of rain we had, and I have some nasturtiums. Next year I'm going to put some lettuce in here. Another really great thing about the house is these below-grade window wells that are filled in with gravel and provide normal windows in the basement. And as a bonus, my granddaughters love to play in these window wells. This is a little mini rock garden that I made around this clematis that I got at a specialty nursery. It's a short, low-growing vining clematis that's pink. So this garden is all pink and blue, which I really love. I have this Dalospermum that blooms in like magenta, and then I have balloon flower over there, just about finishing up for the season. I also have some really nice lamium or dead nettle, and over in the corner I've got a dwarf morning glory that I found stays open all day, and it doesn't climb, it kind of spreads. So I'm very pleased with that, and it's been a lot of fun. Right now I'm on the back deck of our house, very tiny little deck, also very functional because it's on the north side of the house, and Lucy and I often have lunch out here in the summer because it's shady, and we have a really nice view also. It's just perfectly proportioned to our tiny backyard. This garden is my miniature shade garden. Right now I have a lobelia, blue lobelia that's blooming that my gardening friend gave me that I hope will spread, and I have a bleeding heart from, I think that was from back home. Nope, no, it was here. I moved it around. And then I have a hosta that I moved out of the sun, and it seems to be much happier where it is. I also have some Jacob's ladder for the spring, and I have my little frog bird basket. To the west side of the deck is what I call my mini shrub border, which mostly comprises this young forsythia that I'm going to take in hand, and it's very healthy. It's small enough that I can keep it from taking over the whole tiny backyard, so I'm very pleased about that. But the main thing I like is I have this absolutely gorgeous Festiva Maxima peony that bloomed prolifically. I had blooms for the house, very fragrant, and as you can see, it's still in September, has beautiful glossy leaves, and it's by far the best peony I ever had. I was going to try to move it, and then I thought, why would I ever move it? So instead I just made sure it had enough light and gave it a lot of water, and here we go. This is another one of my very favorite things, which is that my condo mate is allowing me to use quite a large portion of this shed, which is a godsend. It makes everything better. I have my gardening stuff in here, my bike's in here, and I love sheds. The backyard is dominated by these 3 large oaks that are red oaks, and do turn red in the fall, so they put on a really nice display. And we also have this very beautiful young white pine tree that is in kind of a perfect location for our little patio. I used a lot of the abundant small granite boulders that we have to delineate a little circular spot for a patio for our outdoor eating, and it's a great place to have breakfast or dinner depending on the weather. And right here to my left is a large boulder that Jesse helped me raise from underground. This boulder was buried, all this section of it was buried up to where this line where it's darker is, and he still managed to save a little piece of moss too. And it's another one of my favorite things in the yard. This swing area is right in back of the patio, and it's for those times when I feel really lazy, and it's just a nice place to be. And in back of the swing, a little bit farther back, is my little compost heap. It's all very compact, and it just works for us. One of the things that's great about co-housing is I had help moving some of these large rocks, which I think add a lot of character and fun to the garden. This one is kind of like a cross between a stepping stone and a landscape rock. And in the background, this spring we had an incredible display of mountain laurel. All these shrubs are native mountain laurel, and it was just spectacular. It looked like a wedding and a bridal party every day for several weeks. I'm very pleased with these mountain laurel, but I do want to expand my garden a little bit back so I can put in some more large annuals or perennials. This little plant here is a native plant called a sweet fern, which I really like. It gets quite large, but I do want to include it in the garden because I just think it has such beautiful leaves. That will be one of the things that stays in the garden. I also have some coreopsis right here that seems to like it. It's partial shade here, so I'm trying to figure out what's going to work best. I discovered a kind of struggling blueberry bush here, and it gave me the idea of in the future planting a little blueberry patch. So that's something I'll be working on in this area because there's nothing too much happening here. Gardner sees the future in a plain patch of dirt, which is what this is right now, surrounded by my little boulders, and all it has is a catmint and a rose of Sharon, but it's very hot and dry here. So in the fall we're going to be planting daffodils and a mixture of lilies, oriental lilies. So I'm very excited about that. I think it's the perfect spot for it.